So the YouTuber Markiplier made a brand new horror movie called Iron Lung. I just watched it, so here's my full spoiler-free thoughts on the best and worst parts of the movie. So yeah, this movie is written, directed, edited, produced, and starred in by Markiplier himself, and obviously just a very small team. He had no studio supporting this film, and honestly, I was very pulled into the story from the very first scene. If you don't know, the movie takes place in a post-apocalyptic future where Markiplier plays the main character Simon, and he is a convict pretty much just set in this submarine on a moon where he has to go in the submarine exploring a blood ocean. So just the premise itself, like I said, the first like 10 to 15 minutes were super interesting because you're kind of just thrown into this world with this guy and you're like, okay, why is he in this blood ocean? What on earth is going on? What is he looking for? And I do want to give Markiplier props for his acting himself. Like this is actually a pretty good job. Like obviously he's not going to be winning any Oscars or anything like that for this role, but it's definitely above like the CW level TV show acting and stuff like that. So he actually did some really good stuff in here, especially later in the movie. He has some really emotional moments and monologues that I actually thought were really good. And saying this as a YouTuber myself, the biggest compliment I can pay this movie is that it does not feel like a YouTuber film. Like on a technical level, the visuals, sound design, everything is really good for the most part. It doesn't feel like some cheap project. Like this thing only cost $3 million to make. And I think that's mostly because it takes place in pretty much one location of this submarine, which I think is a limitation of this movie. Now, I know it's based on a video game. I'm assuming the entire video game takes place in this submarine, so I'm not mad at him like properly adapting the thing. I just think the runtime of this movie being pretty much, I think, like 2 hours and 5 minutes, not including credits, is too long for this thing. Like there's been plenty of movies that are in single locations in the past, but I feel like you need like a clean 90 minutes for this to really be super engaging because there is a lot of downtime in the middle of this film. And when you're kind of like past the initial mystery, but still kind of have no idea what's really going on, that kind of just feels like a big lull. I also kind of feel like by the time we got to the end of the movie, it kind of lost me story wise. Like some things are just straight up confusing, others were just a little unsatisfying. And again, this could be all stuff that happens in the video game itself. So I don't know. That's just my critique of the story itself, nothing on the filmmaking level. I personally, by the end of it, was like, okay, what on earth are we doing here? But even with those complaints, this is definitely not a bad movie by any means. And like I said, you don't have to be a big fan of Markiplier to enjoy this. Like he does a great job at making this just feel like a great film. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a YouTube movie or like you're just watching Markiplier be himself or anything. Especially considering that this is his first feature film. And again, he had really no studio backing or anything behind it. Obviously, I know Markiplier is not like hard pressed for cash or anything, but it is still a very independent film that is very impressive for a first time filmmaker. And honestly, if he makes another movie with a bigger budget, maybe multiple locations, I honestly think he could make a genuinely great horror film because there are tons of amazing moments and well acted scenes in this movie. And it is really just a cool story for Hollywood itself. This movie made over $20 million in its opening weekend on a budget of $3 million. And we're in a time where movie theaters are dying and people are talking about the fact that movie stars themselves have no appeal. But I think we're just seeing things shift. Like again, Markiplier has a huge audience that went and saw this movie for him, and he didn't take a huge payday or anything. He didn't cost like $20 million like a Chris Pratt would or something. And that allowed this movie to be a huge success. So to sum it all up, I think this movie is very enjoyable. I highly recommend it. Just know it is flawed, but most of my problems, like I said, come with where the story goes in the second half. And I just think it's simply way too long. If this was a clean 90 to even 100 minutes, I think it would be a whole lot better, but still a really good time. I'm going to give it a strong 6 out of 10.